Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another video. Today I had the privilege of revealing some brand new cards to you guys. Today we're going over expansion sets 14 and 15 Enhanced Battle. That comes out November 20th, so make sure you get your hands on it when it comes out. These cards are honestly incredible. We're going to go over them in today's video. If you guys want to help the channel out in doing so, in getting your cards, make sure to go down in the description to TCG Player for all your Dragon Ball Super card needs, and make sure to pre-order Enhanced Battle through that link when it comes out. Before we get into the cards, guys, I do want to thank Bandai very much for this opportunity. I do appreciate it, but more so than that, I have to give an extra special thank you to you guys, the fans, because without you I would not be here. You know, me and the other creators that have been getting these reveals, it's honestly an incredible opportunity. I'm so thankful to Bandai. I'm so thankful to you guys, because you guys really made it known that you want to see me show you these cards, and I just really appreciate it. And once again, congratulations to all other creators that got the reveals as well. 110% deserving, guys. I just appreciate everyone in this community so much. With that being said, let's just get started with the new cards. So Ultimate Shenron Dimensional Wishmaster, we have a 2-drop red unison. This is cool because red unisons more so come in the ways of 3 drops. There aren't too many 2-drop red unisons at our disposal. This one's really good though. Permanent, this card can't attack. That's okay though. It's 20k body, so it's gonna be very hard for your opponent to deal with. +1, activate main, draw 1 card, choose 1 card in your hand and place it at the bottom of your deck. Then choose up to 1 red Earthling only battle card with an energy cost of 2 in your hand and play it. -3, activate main, pay 3 red. If your leader is a red Earthling only card and all of your energy is mono red, choose up to 1 of your red unison cards with a specified cost of 4 in your hand and play it with 2 markers on it. So what we'll do is we'll go over the cards and what they do, and now we will talk about some of those synergies that work with these cards. So we have Yamcha Supersonic Striker. A lot of what this card does works around Earthlings. The -3 works around Earthling only leaders and having mono red energy. The +1 doesn't necessarily care what your leader is, but it does play an Earthling only battle card to the field. Well, what's one of the strongest Earthling only battle cards we have right now in red? That's easily going to be Yamcha Supersonic Striker, and most of these cards in expansion 14 are meant to work with set 10, and most of the expansion 15 was set to work around, you know, set 11. But we will go over some other niche uses that these cards have with other strategies. I'm actually really excited for that. But anyways, guys, like I said, Earthling only leader, you're definitely getting Yamcha. There is another Yamcha leader you can explore as well. I think it's from set 6. A little bit back then, but anyways, that's basically a big crit leader. This guy has to do more so with burn damage, so you can use that leader or any other Earthling only leader you want to use. But guys, for the +1, I think the strongest card you can play off that +1 is Yamcha the Lawless. This card is an absolute powerhouse for Earthling decks. Basically auto at the end of the turn, draw 1, and then he has activate battle, which gives him a little bit of game ending power. So I think he's one of the strongest cards you can be playing with Ultimate Shenron Dimensional Wishmaster. Then for the -3, at the moment we have 1 4-cost red unison in the game. That's going to be Vegeta Unison of Might. You get him with 2 markers on it, and then he also had a similar effect to the +1 of Wishmaster, which is to put a red battle card of energy cost 2 or less in play, and he also draws you a card. So basically you get him in there for a little bit cheaper than his cost. You +1, you get him up to 3 markers, and obviously we have to keep an eye out for future 4-cost unisons that this card could potentially work with. But as it stands right now, I think Dimensional Wishmaster is an incredible 2-drop unison for red. Really fills a lot of those curves, because a lot of times, again, you're playing 3-drop unisons, but a lot of your better battle cards are 3s and 4 drops. So now finally having a good turn 2 unison to play, I think is going to be really good for these decks. So I'm very excited for this card for sure. Next up, we have Trunks Power to Save the Future. 1-drop blue blocker. If your leader card is a blue future Trunks card, when this card is played, you may choose 2 blue battle cards in your hand, place them in your life face up, and if you do, add 2 cards from your life to your hand. Okay, this is kind of crazy because the first time we're seeing life face up. Like, you know, there was like the wish stuff where you could look through your life. That was a little different, but now here we have face up life, which is kind of crazy. So obviously this is meant to work with the set 10 Trunks deck, and it's just an incredible turn 1 play for the deck. Like, now if you open this card in your hand when you draw the Blaze of Passions and the Hope of Victory Gokus, you have another way to put them into your life, you know, kind of coinciding with that future Kai unison, right? So you should have more ways to stack your life. It doesn't really matter that they're face up in your life either, because when you're using the future Kai effect, your opponent already pretty much knows, hey, he's putting the cards into his life that he gets effects off of basically when he takes damage. If anything, this makes it a little bit easier for you as the Trunks player, because you don't necessarily have to lose track of where you put what in your life. I mean, realistically, you know, you can make it easy enough to remember what life is what as long as you're paying a little bit of attention. But the nice funny thing is, this actually makes it that much easier to just know, okay, he hit me, I'm going to take Blaze of Passion, put it in my energy, or take Hope for Victory, put it in my energy. And there's other cards in the deck as well that work with being hit off of your life and brought into the field or put in your energy, things of that nature, so you can basically get to that huge Vegeta boss monster. This card, in my opinion, is an incredible turn 1 play for the deck. This turn 1 followed by Supreme Kai Unison turn 2. That's going to be really, really strong. So I think this is some great support for Trunks. I know my teammate Trey is going to be very, very happy about this card. So shout out to you here, Trey. Anyways, moving on, we have Ginyu Force, the Showstoppers, 2-drop 15k permanent. This card gains Raccoon, Jace, Burger, and Guldo in all areas. Auto once per turn. If your leader card is a green Ginyu Force card and you have 2 or more energy, when this card attacks and deals a damage to an opponent or removes a marker from an opponent's unison, play up to 1 green Ginyu Force card with an energy cost of 2 from your deck, other than copies of this card, then shuffle your deck. So what's this working with? The green Ginyu stuff from set 10. The Ginyu leader basically has the ability to put this card into play for free, and we know, guys, in Dragon Ball Super, free playing battle cards is incredibly strong. I think that was one of the things that already kind of led to Ginyu's ability to do certain things as a rogue deck. Just the fact that you could spam a board of 15k battle cards without actually having to pay energy was crazy. But anyways, with the Showstoppers, one of the cool things I found that you can do is you can play Showstopper for 0 energy. You can attack. Oftentimes early on, your opponent's going to take that damage, or, you know, if you attack a unison, unless they have a negate or a blocker, they cannot stop that damage. So you do that, you play Raccoon the Musclehead, which can then play another Ginyu Force from your hand. It could be like a Jace or a Guldo to stack the top of your deck. And then you could actually successor into Lord Slug, U3 Gain, coming out in Draft Box 6. And it's a really, really aggressive play to do this, because everything leading up to Slug was 0 energy, so you still have a green energy available to successor into Lord Slug. You can maybe even play another successor if you end up charging yellow. Maybe you play a multicolor deck. But anyways, going into Lord Slug, that's basically your leader attack, Raccoon, the Showstopper, the other Ginyu Force that you play, that's 4 attacks, and then successor into Slug. You don't get his autos, but you do get a huge 25k double strike. All that was for 1 energy, guys. So kind of crazy there. And then of course you can build up your board very, very easily because you're playing Ginyu, and then you can work to getting back that bond ability up and running, whether you want to make your opponent discard a card or KO one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode. That was just a cool little combo that I found, but of course there are gonna be a lot of ways you can use this to a lot of benefit in Ginyu. Next up, guys, we have Son Goten and Trunks Super Saiyan Tag Team, 3-drop 15k auto. If your leader card is a yellow Gotenks Adolescence card, when this card is discarded by a Union Fusion skill, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, switch to rest mode, then you can't activate autos on this card or other copies of this card for the turn. So this one, pretty obvious what it works with. We have the yellow Gotenks deck from set 10, but this basically gives you a little bit more utility within the deck, because I think when you're playing yellow Gotenks, everyone always played a small fusion engine. Typically it was like 2 to 3 copies of a Trunks and a Goten, and then like 2 or 3 copies of Gotenks going all out. And Gotenks going all out is a really, really powerful card. Pay 3, fuse into him, draw 2, KO a battle card in rest mode, ignoring barrier, and negating its skills. Basically what Son Goten and Trunks Super Saiyan Tag Team does is it gives you that diversity of, you know, giving you a Trunks and a Goten. So if you have the other one in your hand, you don't have to worry too much about that. And that's one of the actually really strong things about green Gotenks, is they have a card very similar to this. But this one also says, like, any of your opponent's battle cards in active mode is now going to be prey to going all out, which is really strong in my opinion. Basically, you know, if your opponent has a problematic card in active mode, before that, going all out couldn't remove it. But now with Super Saiyan Tag Team, you can basically use this auto first, then use going all out's auto, and you're gonna be in pretty good shape there. So I like that a lot. I love Gotenks, you guys know that, so I'm pretty hyped for this for sure. Next up, guys, we have Toa Rewriting History. We have a 1-drop black battle card auto. When this card is played, add up to 1 Dark Dragon Ball from your deck or drop area to your hand, then shuffle your deck if you look through it. Keep in mind, all those parasitic Dragon Balls, like for Dark Broly, Frieza Xeno, Cell Xeno, those all gain Dark Dragon Ball in all areas, so she searches out all those. So if you're playing a deck revolving around Frieza Xeno, like we've seen, like certain Frieza aggro decks, or if you're playing a Cell Xeno deck, or even a Dark Broly deck, she searches out all of your Dark Dragon Balls. activate main once per turn, pay 2 if your leader card is black and you have 3 or more energy, and you choose one non-black Dark Dragon Ball card in your hand and place it in your drop area. Play up to one Dark Broly card or non-black battle card with Xeno in its character name and an energy cost of 4 or less from your deck or hand, then shuffle your deck if you look through it. Okay, I feel like I just got done reading a book to you guys. Anyways, what does this thing actually do? It synergizes with all those Dark Dragon Ball archetypes we've gotten since the start of set 10. For instance, the whole Frieza Xeno engine, we know that you can play like Surprise Attack Frieza. You can use the Frieza Dragon Ball to play Dark Infestation. That's another double strike swing on top of a crit swing. Pop this guy off, make your opponent discard a card. Note that that is not actually tied to any specific leader color, which is pretty great considering Toa works when you have a black leader. And of course, it seems to synergize well with the Dark Broly stuff as well. Pay 2 and basically play a Dark Broly from your deck, which is very, very strong. The cool thing about Toa though is that she works with any black leader, so the creativity here is actually very, very high. You can look at other black leaders and see where she synergizes. You know, there could definitely be some green black decks like, you know, old school Mira back in the day. You guys can maybe revisit that. That seems really strong there, but I think Toa is a very, very good card for these different types of strategies here. All right, now for expansion 15, first card we have Gogeta Time for Payback. Gogeta players rejoice. We all know I've had some interesting takes on the Gogeta stuff. I can't necessarily say that I'm wrong though, considering how it's done in the meta, but this card I think is actually very, very good. So Gogeta Time for Payback, we have a 4-drop, 9k power, unique blocker, Union Fusion, draw 1 card with fusing a red Son Goku BR and a red Vegeta BR. Activate main for 3 reds. If your leader is a red Gogeta BR and you have 4 or more energy, choose up to 1 mono red Gogeta BR card with energy cost of 8 or less from your deck or hand. Play it on top of this card, then shuffle your deck to look through it. You can't activate main on copies of this card for the turn. Okay, what are we looking to do with this card? Well, we're playing it with Profit or Demise, most likely because when you fuse this guy, you draw 1 already, and if you do it with this leader, you draw an additional card. But that's not to say that you can't use this in like a set 6 Gogeta leader deck, but this guy being Gogeta on both sides definitely helps because his activate main only works if your leader is a Gogeta BR. So sure, you can wake up the set 6 leader, do this, but being Gogeta on both sides of this leader helps out a lot. And of course, there's a video game promo to look at as well. And then you pay 3, you go into any 8-drop or less Gogeta. Honestly, kind of crazy. They make you wait till 4 or more energy, so you can still go into your turn 3 Gogeta plays where you go into, you know, the new Gogeta engine from set 11. But what's really crazy about this is you can actually pull these 2 8-drop Gogetas out of your deck and put them right on top of this Gogeta. Now, I will say this guy doesn't have very much protection. He doesn't have deflect, doesn't have barrier. Definitely a very, very fair balancing that Bandai has done. I always want to praise them when they do great things with balance. We don't want cards to be too broken. We want them to be strong and playable, but not unbeatable, and that's something great they've done here. So basically, you get either of these 2 8-drops from the deck. I do want to point your attention to Fusion Onslaught, though. You will not get your burn effects with Fusion Onslaught if you play this into an empty board, because he specifically says he has to be evolved on top of, and this doesn't necessarily evolve, it just puts the card on top. So a little different there. I do want you guys to know about that. But anyways, you can go into Fusion Onslaught to clear an entire board for 3 energy. Pretty cool there. You know, let's just say your, you know, Fusion of the Gods Gogeta can't clear everything because their battle cards are more than 15k, which actually happens quite a bit. You can do this play into Fusion Onslaught, attack their entire board. Really strong there. So this could definitely breathe some new life into Gogeta, which is very cool. Next up, Vegeta Protector of the People. We have a 4-drop blocker, 20k auto. If your leader is a blue Vegeta GT card and you have 4 or more mono blue energy, when this card is played, draw 1. Then if you don't have a Unison card in play, play up to 1 SS4 Son Goku Protector of the Earth from your deck or hand with 3 markers on it. Then shuffle your deck if you look through it. Auto once per turn. If you have a blue Unison card in play with 2 or more markers on it, at the end of the turn, switch this card to active mode. All right, guys. So here we have Protector of the Earth, we have Son Goku, Power of the Golden Great Ape, and the Vegeta Leader. Some of the cards you'll want to pair with this deck. What I think you can do is you can use the Golden Ape Unison. You can even maybe use Zeno Unison just to ensure you're getting your ramp early. And then when the time is right, you can -5 on Zeno, you can -5 on Golden Great Ape, get their effects, because Vegeta Protector of the Earth does require you to have no Unison in play. But when you play it, you basically get S4 Son Goku Protector of the Earth out of the deck. His auto will trigger, so this is actually a nice way to get this card out of the deck against aggressive strategies. You want to basically use that auto to kind of floodgate them, so you're doing that, and you're getting a 20k blocker out of it. Vegeta hasn't been doing so much in set 11. This could actually be a card that maybe allows it to play a little bit more of an early game. Getting that Unison on board seems like it could be pretty helpful, especially against aggressive strategies like Red Broly, like Dark Broly, things of that nature. And then auto once per turn. If you have a blue Unison card to play with 2 or more markers on it, at the end of the turn, switch this card to active mode. So you definitely always want to have unison play with this. Definitely can be quite good. Majin Buu, Malice, Distilled. We have a 3-drop 20k auto. When this card's played, add up to 1 green Majin card with an energy cost of 7 from your deck to your hand, then shuffle your deck. This is obviously going with the Vegeta Bibbidi stuff. So you have Majin Quickening, which can play this card out of the deck. Now you have a few options when you want to play cards out of the deck with the Quickening. You have this Buu, which searches your Royal Absorption, which is why he's very, very good. Actually helps a lot of the early OTKs where you want to be super, super aggressive. But the other cards you have at your disposal are a Barrier 3-drop Buu and a Deflect 3-drop Buu. So basically, you have a Buu for each scenario now, depending on what you're up against. Are you up against like God-Sling Trunks? You play the Deflect Buu. Are you up against Charismatic Villain? You play the Barrier Buu. Are you not really too worried about a counterplay distorting your stuff? Go into this Buu, search your Royal Absorption. Your deck just got way more consistent. So it's actually kind of crazy how that all works out, guys. It's a super strong engine, super strong piece of the engine, I should say. Very, very good for the aggressive style builds of Majin Vegeta. Garlic Jr. Immortal Avenger. I'm very excited about this one. 3-drop 10k, unique, indestructible, auto, pay a yellow. If your leader card is a yellow Demon Clan card, if it's your turn, when one of your yellow Demon Clan cards is removed from battle area by a skill, aka servant, play this card from your hand, auto once per turn, switch this card to rest mode. When you activate an Overlord skill, choose one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and KO it. Alright, so how does this directly support the Garlic stuff? So realistically in Garlic, there was no great turn 2 play, but there was a ton of turn 3 plays. You could go into your other 3-drop Garlic from set 11, and then, you know, if you could potentially evolve that turn and evolve into Overlord of the Dead Zone, or you could play your 3-drop Unison, Awaken, and then do all that Garlic stuff next turn. Now what you can do is you can actually go Machio Star on 1. Basically, when you get that servant onto the field, when you're able to, you Overlord it away, you play this Garlic via his effect, and then for 1, you go into Overlord of the Dead Zone, basically bringing that out on turn 2, and then you go into your Unison turn 3, get Awakened, do all the crazy Garlic Jr. stuff. That seems, you know, in my opinion, a lot of a very big power boost for Garlic Jr. as an archetype, so I am definitely very, very excited for that in particular, because I thought Garlic Jr. was really kind of cool, but just a little bit too slow. Like I said, the turn 3 plays, they kind of conflicted with each other, so I'm glad to see this is like more of a turn 2 play. It's a bit of a combo, don't get me wrong, but definitely something you can pull off if you're hitting your curve. Next up, guys, for the last card here, we have Mirror Dimensional Superpower. We have an X cost Unison 15k black, so you can pay a minimum of 1 for this, but permanent. This card can't attack if it has 2 or fewer markers on it. +1 activate main, choose a card in your hand and send it to your warp. If you do, draw 1. -2 activate battle. For each card in your warp, this card gets plus 5,000 power for the battle. So for me, the number one thing I saw with this card in terms of synergy is Crit Nemba, believe it or not, guys, because for me, I have been looking for a card to effectively put cards into my warp for this deck for so long. I know a few of my patrons, if you're watching, if we worked on this deck, you know that we were looking at different weird cards like Excess Cash and Toa Revenge Blocker to basically get cards into our warp. This card does it perfectly. You can play it on turn 1. Turn 1, start cycling your Janembas into the warp. Play your Infernal Chain. It's kind of crazy how it works like that. This is the one I wanted to mention that I think works really well outside of like the whole set 10-11 thing. But overall, guys, that's all the cards for today's video. Once again, thank you guys, Bandai, and thank you guys so much. Drop a comment below. Let me know how you think these cards are. Let me know other combos you can think of with these cards. I will see you guys next time.